Hi, Rhonda Palzari here with you today to share with you a quick video tutorial on how to create this two-tone look on a scrapbook page or any piece of art you're working on. A couple weeks ago I did a blog hop with Julie Fayfan Balzer and the Crafters Workshop, and I got a lot of questions on this layout, so today I'm going to show you what that's all about. So what you're going to need is just some paper, and I'm showing you on some neutral cardstock because it's easiest for you to see with the mist. Some stencils, and I'm going to go over the different types that's a little bit better to use. Some spray inks, and I have with me a couple of my favorites. This is Delusions from Ranger. It's a new dye ink out on the market, super bright. I have some Maya Mist, which just love because they're very saturated, and you can dilute them to get a lighter color. And then I have some Color Wash by Ranger as well, and these are my favorite ones to use, so I'll be using those today. And then some optional tools are brayers. These are great, and these are optional, but I'm going to show you how useful they are in this. And then I have a misting box and a heat gun to dry it, just to give me a quick transition. So let's talk about the stencils. With this particular step, with this particular technique, I find it easier to use something with almost an equal amount of positive and negative space, say like this one, the Swiss dot, rather than this one. Now you can use this one, but it gets a little difficult because of all the open areas, and I'm going to show you what I mean when we take a look at this. So the first step is you're going to stamp with your stencil. So I'm going to grab a large stencil here. And I think we'll go with this one. This one's a pretty one. So you can see that. And the first step is to stamp with it. And Julie did a video a couple weeks ago detailing this. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check out her video tutorials on YouTube. So all I'm going to do is spray this stencil. I can do it light or heavy. I can do it in random patterns or cover it all, but I'm just going to go random and just get a good amount on there. And you can see it's beading up on the stencil, on the plastic. Then I'm going to take my box away. And I'm going to have my layout. And I'm going to flip it over onto the layout. Now this is where the brayer comes in handy. I'm going to put my feet up, and I'm just going to lightly transfer that ink onto the layout. Now if I push too hard, it's going to push the ink through the open spaces, and you don't want that because you want to get that two-tone look, and you want to have each area separate. So I'm lightly pushing with my brayer. Now if I didn't have a brayer, you can just finger walk around and push that ink into the paper. So I'm going to lift that up, and you're going to see this nice pattern, and you can see some of the ink is still not dry, so I'm going to go ahead and dry it just for ease of use. Okay, that's pretty cool in itself. I love that look, but I want to do more color on there. So what I'm going to do, and I'm just lightly wiping off my stencil, is I'm going to go back down in the same pattern that I had it before. That's the key, is you want it back down the same way. There we go. Everything's covered. Now the cool part here is you can go in with a complementary color. Typically complementary colors like orange and blue, if you mix them together, they'll make a muddy color. and you don't want that. But with this, you're covering it up, and you can use the two complementary colors. But this time, I think I'm going to go with a little crushed grape. And I think I'm going to do a little fresh lime. Okay, and you can see where the where the purple and the green are, you can get a little bit of that kind of mud color, but I'm okay with that. So when I lift up, you can see I have some green areas in the blue, and they just don't transfer, and it looks beautiful, just kind of like this layout. And since my stencil is already loaded up with ink from spraying through, I'm just going to turn it around and transfer that ink onto this layout, since I already have it, and save it for a different project at a different day. Pretty cool. So let's try it with a smaller stencil, just so you get the idea. I think I'll go with the Peekaboo. And I have some smaller cardstock that I'm going to use it on too. Okay, so first I'm going to spray this. Let's see. And this time I'm going to show you some, let's do this light blue. This is a diluted turquoise, metallic from Maya, and I think maybe I'm going to add in some lemon zest. Now, because I'm going on the same side, there will be the colors crossing over, so I will end up with some green towards the center, and I know that going in. So when you use colors on the same side of the color wheel, it's okay, because you'll get that blended effect. If you use blue and green, blue and yellow, you'll get the green. If you use red and yellow, you'll get the orange. If you use red and orange, you'll get yellow-orange. So here again, I'm going to push down a little bit, feed up with the brayer to get the ink in there. So you see, if I really pushed hard, I'm going to push out that ink, and I'm going to get spots in here. So I get this very, very cool pattern. And you can see the green from where the two inks combine. I'm going to wipe down my stencil a little bit. I'm going to flip it back over and go back in with the same position that I had it before. And this time I really want that pop, so I'm going to use a bit of Fig Magenta. It's one of my favorites. Okay, now I'm going to lift up, and I have that cool two-tone look without bleeding the colors into one another. So it's that simple. I want to show you some other examples I did with this technique. So you can see this is the 6x6 on the 12x12 page, and it's got the pink and the red. It's really cool. This is the pomegranate one. I thought this one turned out pretty cool. And it has the turquoise and the orange and the pinks in the background. Again, same color, it's on the same side of the wheel, and then different contrasting. And this one is using some color washes with the mustard and the lettuce. And I really like this effect. I love that there's white still in the page, but there's splatters everywhere else. It's pretty cool. And then this is just the transfer of the other stencil. Since it's so wet, you might as well use it. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, please feel free to check out my website at rhondapalzari.com. Thank you and have a good day.